welcome back to the channel. Today I just want to take a fast look at the RUK V2 from Gil-Tek. I first saw this when my friend Steve, his channel is One Yankee Cowboy, did a review on it, and first of all, I really trust Steve's reviews, and it looked like something that was right up my alley. The RUK is, as you can see, is a utility. I'd call it an EDC tool that holds a razor blade that you can easily and simply deploy with one hand without having to press any extra buttons. And what I really like about this style, and I have switched more and more of my personal EDC and my work-related stuff over to this style, which is why I wanted to try this guy out, is simply when the blade is dull. Yes, I know some of you are Zen masters at sharpening, but when you are, say, on the go, especially at work, and all of a sudden your blade stops doing what you need it to do, and you can just pop this out and grab another one and quickly throw it in there. It's a lot faster than knowing, okay, when I get home I'm going to have to pull out the sharpening kit or whatever. If you happen to have a stone with you in your toolbox, that's wonderful. This is actually the blade that came with it. I actually took that blade out because I knew I was eventually going to be doing a video here. But so, long story short is I contacted Tyler, the owner, and I told him I was interested in reviewing one because I really liked the idea, and my own at work stuff has slowly been switching over. If the one that I use at work is actually just made by Milwaukee, and it's kind of come to be because you try one out and realize that, okay, I don't like this feature, or I tried this and I didn't like that feature. But what ended up happening with this is I asked him. He starts off. This one is in titanium, which is pretty cool, and I would say very pricey. And then he has one in brass, which is a step down in price. I want to say the brass one was like half the price. And then you can knock off even more money by just going with one in aluminum. Well, you know, when I simply asked him if I could try one in brass because I thought it was really unique, and you know, why not? And he informed me that he was all out of the models in brass and was planning on doing a run in the next week, and he would make one up for me. And then he contacted me like a day later and said, you know what, I just did a run in titanium. I'm just going to send you one of those if it's okay. And I'm just like, well, if I would have known I would have had a shot at the titanium one in the first place, I would have just asked for it. But because it was significantly more expensive than the aluminum one, the titanium is thinner, and I'm just guessing, maybe, I mean, he would probably know. He seems like he has a hell of some engineering skills, considering he makes every single one of these. The titanium gets a little bit thinner, and it probably brings considerably more strength at that level. You're looking at 2 ounces. And what's really cool about it, for me anyway, is I told myself, you know, I'm just gonna leave this at home, and I'm gonna have it as my evening, weekend, non-working EDC. And then the more I thought about it, was like, okay, why have something that looks like it could easily replace the one that I have at work? So as you can see, it's been in use it cleaned up pretty well, but I mean, it's in my pocket. It's being smashed up against drywall walls and anything else that I've been using it for. And what I absolutely love about this that has not been the case with any of my other ones, is most of them have some kind of a button in order to release the blade, where this is held in place, basically a spring loaded by itself, and you just push it up and it'll lock once right there, and then it'll lock again right there. And other than error, as in me not having it forward into that lock groove, I've never been able to push on it and get it to go retract back inside. And I've never been able to stick it in something and have the blade get pulled out. It locks in there perfectly. And the other one that I have, the button, because the button is on either one side or the other, they usually accommodate righties and put the button on the left side, is when I'm cutting up against something, it'll hit the button and it'll actually eject the blade. The blade will stay stuck in whatever I'm doing. If you're going along, say some quarter round or some base, scoring a line so that when you pull it off, it doesn't take the paint and some plaster or something with you. So this one, the blade stays firmly in place. And then on top of that, you're getting a few extra tools with it. I'm not putting this in any order of importance, but right off the front of it is a bottle opener. And so, we have to properly demonstrate that. Oh, look at that. It worked perfectly. As long as we're in, you guys just take a moment and enjoy this. Oh, yeah. Okay, so you got a bottle opener. Little back area here for, like, say, cutting fishing line or small rope. I will admit, I tried cutting some paracord, and I was not successful. But it was paracord with a filament line, and then there was a center core that was flammable in case you needed to use it as fire starter, and the whole thing was wider than that opening. So fishing line and thinner stuff like this, it works fantastic for, or thinner. It's the thinner material, and I gave it a try. Then in back you have a pry bar. And it may not seem like a lot, but this also has been enough for me on trying to pull some small wooden pieces, like some bay shoe, a little piece right in the corner, just enough to get that in there. And you can also use it as a screwdriver, and I have a few times, and I have not been able to do any damage to it yet. You'll see a couple of pins right here. Those are serving two purposes. One, it allows the blade to just barely slide on those. It will not come down enough that you can get into them, but it allows it to slide on them so that when you are deploying and putting the blade back in, it's not rubbing on either aluminum, brass, or titanium. And those pins can be pushed out, and this whole thing is like T-slotted together. Just his tolerances and his engineering is just incredible. So you pop the pins out, and then the two pieces will slide apart from each other and then come out. There's, like I said, it's keyed with tracks in it. So if you want to be able to take it apart, I found that... again, I actually should have just taken a picture of it to show you what a month of EDC use does. This is why I always harp: make sure you're cleaning your guns and your switch lock blade or knives, because there was quite a dust bunny collection up inside of there. But if you really feel the need to take it apart, I didn't feel the need to take it apart. I was able to clean it out, but you can pop those little pins out and it'll slide apart. And then last and not least, and I will say that at work I usually keep 2 extended tools in my pocket. One is the long version of this Phillips here, and another one is the Torx, a T20 Torx, which is what we mostly use for fasteners. And something like this still works because you have it as a wrench, but I found with the longer ones, just run with that. I think they're 3 or 3.5 inches. It gives you a little bit more room, as you can see here, to use this as a tool. And no, it's not as convenient as grabbing the drill or the impact. Oh boy, you can see how his tolerances are. It doesn't work nearly as well as a drill or an impact, but when those items are, say, out in the truck or maybe not even with you, and you just need to quickly bell to loosen something to take it apart, it did come in handy at least one time where I did not have the time or desire to go out and grab the right tool out of the vehicle when I had this in my pocket. So I don't want to take up a whole bunch of time, but for me, the bottom line is I've been using this for about a month, and I think honestly it's badass. The RUK V2 from Gil-Tek. Tyler, great guy, owner, operator. If you have any questions or things, you're going to be talking to the owner, and that's what I truly appreciate. Made in the USA, and like I said, his machining work is, especially when I saw how this is keyed and slotted to lock together. It was just like, damn, man, just the work. I think first of all, it is an awesome tool, and it did go from my after work EDC to my work EDC, so it's definitely going to take on a lot more abuse. I'm probably going to end up getting another one of these so I can have one for work and one for home. But I highly recommend you give it a try. So well thought out, and if you go through sharpening sessions like I do, you'll definitely it's almost like the tolerance on this this blade is, hang on with the. If you're looking for something well thought out and well oh, my bad. I know what I was doing wrong. I was lifting up on the blade and it was actually stopping into the pin. So a well thought out, well designed. This blade actually works. Seems like it's size-wise, it's definitely a little bit beefier and works great in here. I guess I'm just gonna take this guy and use it until it's not sharp anymore. But then again, that is the point. Okay, it's now dull, and you are ready to flip it around, and now you have life again. Now you've killed it, and you can just throw it away and switch to whatever brand you want. I usually pick up these packs of 100 of these for like $9, so you're good to go for a long time. The RUK V2 from Gil-Tek. Like I said, if you want something exotic, like the titanium here, Otherwise, the brass one is very cool. Or you can just still get the same design and pick them up in aluminum. He's got all sorts of different colors. Questions, comments, please leave them down below. But I definitely put this in the category of a must-have, especially if you use any kind of a utility razor blade like this at work. So far to date, of all of the ones I've tried, this is the one that I'm honestly liking the most. Cheers, guys.